Howdy folks, Howard Crane here of Eclectic Vibrations Radio's flagship show, The Anti-Broadcast, broadcasting every 9 p.m. Irish time, Wednesdays. Let's talk about this elite pedophile ring. It's actually, I would say, a misnomer to call it elite pedophile ring, when it seems to be the status quo of being elite, as in someone in the halls of power politically or the filthy rich. They all seem to be involved in this creepy sex stuff and seem to look out for each other in covering it up. In the last few years, particularly with the Jimmy Savile death, people around him, I guess, thought, well, he's dead now, we can actually tell the truth about what this guy was up to. A linchpin in the whole British pedophile system that, he was a little gateway for which we could find out everything that we need to know. If you're not up to speed on elite pedophile rings, etc., particularly in a British context, I've included some links in the description, one of them being a police whistleblower. Another, an excellent documentary that just came out at the beginning of August here, Paedophiles in Parliament. A very, very well researched and concise documentary by an actual journalist, just to get you up to speed. Oh, I was distracted by fucking animals out in the hallway making noise. I hope it's them and not someone breaking into my house at 5:30 in the morning. Okay, now that we all know what we're talking about here, why is this happening? If pedophilia is the way that the elites kind of hold their system together, use it as a kind of a currency, both, I'll give you children to fuck if you do this, but also I'll expose that you've been fucking the children that I gave you to fuck with the pictures I took, which I've had in this briefcase for 50 years. How is this system supposed to function if the elites are just, slowly kind of letting it all fall apart? This is where we get into my conspiracy theory, right? Things aren't always as simple as they look on the surface. Actually, most of the time, things aren't as simple as they look on the surface. We're playing chess. They're playing 4D chess most of the time. Now, the process of the New World Order has gotten to the point of where national boundaries are being dissolved like crazy. And it's not so much the issue of national borders disappearing, more like these mega-state borders are disappearing. You had the United States, the old Soviet Union, now the Russian Federation, the European Union, mega-states, right? Now they're even being done away with on a certain level. Are we hearing about pedophiles in Parliament and on the other side of the ocean, pedophiles in Washington, D.C., etc., to destroy our confidence in our own nations, to destroy the idea that we have leaders, no matter how corrupt and fucked up they are? At least over the years we had the illusion that they represented us and that they defended our countries, and to an extent they have. Could we be witnessing a war between the nationalist elites that want to keep control of the countries that they've entrenched themselves in, and internationalist elites that just want to destroy and take the life out of these countries? Is this a kind of a cleaning house where just, let everything out into the open and then we can just sweep away all of the plain pieces on the board and start all over again in an internationalist world? These are things we need to think about. This is a conversation we need to have. This is the level that we have to have the conversation on. Or are we being softened up to the idea of pedophilia being just another persuasion, I guess is the word? It's just another sexual preference. Oh, that guy over there is gay. That guy over there likes to lick feet. And that guy here likes to touch children. And they're all equal, supposedly, in this world that we're projecting here. Pedophiles having just as much rights as homosexuals. It's starting to look that way. If you look at the history of, say, certain huge segments of the Labour Party in Britain actually supporting pedophiles, I can add some links in the description to back up everything I'm saying. You also look at this trend. There was a TED talk. If you're in any way interested in this topic, then you should have heard of this TED talk, where some woman, some academic, got up with a softly spoken voice and described to us that pedophiles aren't necessarily child abusers, and it's possible for a pedophile to live in abstinence all their lives and not act out their sexual preference for children. This is kind of slowly being accepted. I've got to figure out what's going on here. I went in and investigated, and it turned out that a cat wanted outside, so I've kind of lost track. This is what's being accepted, okay? Slowly but surely. And people are starting to, on the fringes, very quietly, and this is how it began with the whole a pedophile doesn't necessarily rape children thing. It started off with a few people on the peripheries, just to push the idea, slow ingress. People are now suggesting that it's possible that love has no age. Just like love has no race, love has no gender, love has no age. That it's quite possible that an adult could have a sexual relationship with a child that is fully loving and completely consensual. This is actually what Labour MP Harriet, whatever her name is, the link's in the description. She said something, to paraphrase it, the quote is out there. We don't know for sure that an adult having sex with a child necessarily does any harm to the child. Yes, this Labour MP said this. Of course, we aren't completely ready to swallow that line of bullshit yet. So she had to, years later, mind you, she had to come out and take that back, basically. But she's not the only one that said it. She's not the only one that's saying it. So, what is it? What's going on? Could it be both things? Could it be that the power dynamics are just being shaken up and the old powers are being swept away in favor for more internationalist overlords? Or is pedophilia being normalized? Could be both. Could be both, because both could happen at the same time. People are getting fucking angry about this. And I've kind of jumped ahead of myself here. If you want kind of an idea of how maybe this is a kind of a warfare situation, you see a lot of the powers that be kind of, throwing up smear campaigns to lessen the impact of these investigations into parliamentarians and other higher-ups. But you also have what you call today pedophile hunting groups, which are absolutely individuals, at the beginning anyway, individuals who got together and said, hey, let's make profiles on social media and pretend to be little children, wait for grown men to text us and talk dirty to us and then incite a meet. Then we go meet them, record it or live stream it, call the cops, have them arrested, hand over all the evidence. And we're talking about hundreds of convictions over the past few years, and the convictions are shooting through the roof. This year, in 2018, it's projected that more than half of the convictions for online grooming use the evidence supplied by these hunting gangs in court to convict. Pretty amazing. But you also have this element of, I think, infiltration. It's a big fucking mess out there, particularly in Britain, among these hunting gangs. Some of them are just plain old rogue. You can see that, they can't even take care of themselves, never mind the children that they have. So why would we trust them to protect our children as they claim to do? And then they just talk shit about other hunting groups. And anyone that questions them, no joke, they organize smear campaigns against these people. Just anyone that comes along and asks too many questions, and if the person that is getting abuse back from these people dares to stand up for themselves, then family members will be contacted. Evidence of the person being a pedophile will be fabricated. These people are fucking devious. I'm wondering, are these people infiltrators? I would suggest that it would be stupid to not assume that there are infiltrators in this community. What's the purpose of these infiltrators? To just cause confusion, to just have so many people exchanging shitty words, shouting at each other, making accusations. I have tried to investigate this. I still am trying to investigate this, to parse out who's the bad guy and who's the good guy, but it's doing my head in, and I came across a lot of people who have who've wasted a lot of time and gotten a lot of fucking headaches themselves trying to figure out just what the fuck is going on. Hard to tell who's who, what's what, where's where. Distraction. And it keeps a lot of people fucking interested. And it draws the interest of a particular type of person, somebody who does care about children, who does care about justice, who does care about pedophiles and pedophile rings, as in they're concerned about them. Where are they taking the attention away from? Pedophile rings in the halls of power, maybe? Could this be a countermeasure? Like I said, 5D chess. Could this be a countermeasure to the push to destroy the British system by taking people's attention away from the rampant pedophilia in the British halls of power? Is that possible? I think it's possible. Haven't any hard evidence for it, but it's possible. We need to be open to these ideas. And in conclusion, I would also like to put out the idea there that, hey, now we have our answer. Now we know why they don't mind all of these Middle Easterner grooming gangs in Britain and other countries. Well, because they're birds of a feather. That's all I've got to think on and project, and there you go, plop down in front of you. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Subscribe and like, all that jazz.